Okay, folks, welcome. Be an interesting show tonight, huh? A lot of people are asking me the same question. What the hell is going on? And, well, I got a few answers for you. I'm not sure everybody's going to enjoy the answers I give, but they're going to be good. They're accurate. That's the sad part about my answers. They're going to be right. So, all right, let's put on my specs. Oh yeah, those are nerdy as hell, aren't they? All right, let's wait for a few people to get on here. Wow, that's amazing. First comment of the night is censored, says Fubar. David, you got censored. Congratulations. You must have said something true. Some comments in this live stream were filtered to protect the community's experience. Larry, how are you, buddy? Okay, hi there. Yeah, look at that. They're taking care of the community experience. They're protecting you. All right, so what do we got here? Well, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, today was not a good day for Wall Street. Is this the beginning of the end or just the beginning of the end? That's the big question people are asking me. NASDAQ down almost 800 points today. Obviously, that's a big one. All the indices overall were pretty damn bad. And it was a pretty bad day for Wall Street. And I don't know if Chairman Powell, Grand Poobah of the Federal Reserve, is trying to destroy the market, like intentionally, but it kind of looks like he is. How you doing, man? All right. So the Trump dump, they're calling it. Markets plunge as post-election Powell unexpectedly turns ultra hawkish. Oh boy. Wow, this is a great one. Nancy Pelosi profited as luxury Napa resort won COVID-19 bailout. What are the odds that Nancy Pelosi, of all people, would want to cheat to make money? Soros funneled, $50 million into a showy profit. What are the odds of this? Folk hero. Al-Qaeda linked Giuliani meets with British diplomats, discusses removal from terrorist list. Well, wouldn't that be interesting? He was the number one most wanted terrorist in the world, and now he's in charge of a country, so he's okay. He's not a bad guy, you know. I mean, they're bad guys, and then they're bad guys. So, let's see. There was another one. Pure Powell panic. There's a great header for a headline. Stock slump following hawkish Fed cut. It's interesting because they're cutting rates, but they're cutting rates and admitting that there's inflation. Now, when you cut rates, you make inflation go up because it's cheaper to borrow money. People borrow money, the economy heats up, and the shit hits the fan. So after all of these rate hikes to slow down inflation, which didn't work because core inflation stayed at 3.4% for the last 58 months, they finally decided, okay, you know what? We're going to cut rates. Now, the question is, why would you cut rates? Why would you do something stupid like that? The only reason I can think of is they're trying very stealthily to bail out the banks. Interesting. So, who am I? I'm just a guy. I'm a guy who talks a lot about money and how to make it, how to save it, etc. I used to be a stockbroker, certified financial planner. I absolutely hated the people on Wall Street because they're backstabbing, lying turds, and the only thing they care about is their own commission. They don't care if you ever make money. Are you for Trump? Well, he's the president now, so it doesn't really matter, does it? All we can do now is cross our fingers and hope that even half of what he promised comes true, because that would be good enough. Let's see. Stocks and bonds dive after Fed signals slower easing ahead. They cut 25 basis points. Now, you're cutting rates, and rates are still going up. Why? Why is that? You guys tell me. Trump's attorneys allege juror misconduct in New York case. We'll see. Trump's border czar anticipates collateral arrests. Yeah, I'm sure of that. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting month. The rest of the month is, greed is definitely part of all of this. I want my money back on the Wall Street. What? On Wall Street, yeah. Let's see. Oh, on the wall. Yes, exactly. Would you hold any TIPS bonds? Not familiar with it. What does that mean? Bond market isn't buying it. No, they're not. Are you for Trump? Because if not, I'm not interested. Well, I mean, I voted for him, if that's what you're asking. But, again, I want to help Democrats too. They're going to need a retirement account here pretty soon. If they're not listening to me, they're in deep shit. So I'm trying to help everybody. Me personally, the choice was pretty obvious. Vote for somebody like that woman who, oh boy, everybody got censored here. What's your take on the drones? Is it just a distraction? No, I really do believe they're looking for a nuke. What should I do with $800 worth of Ethereum? I'd hang on to it right now. It's a real shit show over there. It's just fucking carnival time. Everybody wants everything that's crypto right now. Crypto. Powell said the Fed would not hold crypto, and it just dropped and then bounced back. Bottom line is, unless the power goes off, unless we lose the grid, crypto is awesome. Bought a shit ton of gold and silver, and both dropped. Absolutely, they will. They'll probably, if the market drops that much again tomorrow, they might drop again. But over the next 6 months, watch them rocket back up, way past where they were before. No, shoot the drones down if they are not from America. Well, that's the point. I mean, obviously, we have the ability to shoot drones down. Why wouldn't we? I mean, it's a simple thing. It's like the mystery of the guys get there. They see a block and tackle above a depression in the ground. Why would you leave a depression in the ground? You make sure it was flat. And why would you leave a block and tackle in a fucking tree above it unless you already came back and got the treasure and you don't care if anybody knows that there was a treasure pit there because it's not a treasure pit anymore. Oak Island, the end. That's it. It could have been 2 shows, but they turned it into 38 million seasons. There's nothing down there, folks. Let's see. There's nothing to see there. Keep moving. And, where we're at right now, Trump, peace through yapping. Yeah, well, it works. Let's see. Chairman Powell explains why he cut rates again as inflation data surges. You got me. It makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Well, Trump is saying, look, if they're not ours, shoot them down. Otherwise, leave them alone. Let's see. Are letting the bad guys out of prison. Oh, I mean, look, I think it's fantastic. I think absolutely fantastic. If you're gonna do shit like that, and you have to do it publicly, what you think we're gonna forget? You think that the next time the Democrats run, we're not going to remind everybody that, hey, look, on their way out the door, they let a guy who sold children to a for-profit company that he owned a part of and got kickbacks for, and he literally destroyed people's lives. A lot of those kids committed suicide afterwards. They ended their own lives because their lives were so destroyed. One girl served 5 years in a detention center as a teenager because she was involved in a fight at a volleyball game in high school. She didn't even start the fight, but she was involved in it. And guess what? It destroyed her life, destroyed her family. And he got clemency. Why? Why would you give somebody like that clemency? There was a comptroller who literally stole $56 million from a small town as the comptroller, She literally had huge tables all around her house that were personally monogrammed in the middle with inlaid, oak that had her initials. She went to a steakhouse every single night of the week, ate a steak, and then got a couple of extra steaks to take home to feed her dogs on the taxpayer dollar. She was granted clemency. How do you explain this? That's very possible. I got a lot of people trying to impersonate me, which I guess is a sign of success. Just don't buy shit from them. Eat the rich. That's the next move. Well, there was a survey done, and 41% of people surveyed said that 41% of people under 35, I should say that, surveyed said that what Luigi did was either somewhat acceptable or completely acceptable. Yeah, these kids that are growing up nowadays don't sleep on Generation Z. They're pissed because they get nothing. All the boomers got all the money and all the riches and all the fucking fun and all the 80s coke and crazy stuff. And guess what? Generation Z, they get nothing, and they know it. They're pissed, and they should be. Let's see. Yeah, there's something's going on there, but look, here's what it boils down to. Steve Quayle fears nuke false flag to keep him out of office. What? They will do anything, including detonate nuclear warheads inside the United States to stop Donald Trump. Well, now, I wish that were completely ridiculous, but it's not. Yep, absolutely. Look, well, the crybaby Gen Z are going to be in charge pretty soon. So, I'm glad that they're the most skeptical generation in history. And the way that they're looking at this Luigi thing is very interesting, because they're not worshiping the wealth. They're not worshiping the elites the way that baby boomers did. Baby boomers were like, yeah, man, Gordon Gekko's right. Greed is good. No, it's not. The entire population bought that bullshit in the 80s, and the 90s were all about just material wealth and self-satisfaction. And they actually came up with something in Clinton called the hedonics index. Hedonism. Yeah, how much pleasure you get up in price. Because if you derive more pleasure from it this year than you did last year because it's got more widgets or more things on it, then it didn't actually go up in price, because the price went up, but the value went up as well. So therefore, it didn't go up. Yeah, that's one of the tricks they use to pretend like there's no inflation. Well, it depends. I mean, I'm not giving up on Gen Z, because as a Generation X guy, I can tell you that Gen X has a very, very sardonic attitude towards life. We're kind of the nomad generation, and Gen Z gets it. Like, I make jokes that boomers go, I wonder if he's joking. The Gen Z kids laugh. They know I'm being sarcastic, because, what else can you do at this point? Do I think Social Security is gone? Absolutely. Places is red. Whoa. Well, that was just a whole word salad right there. I think Kamala Harris wrote that one. I didn't understand a word of it. Again, the drones. If you were gonna fly drones and you were spying on the United States, would you put red and green port and starboard anti-collision lights on them? No, you would not. You would fly them dark, wouldn't you? I mean, it's so idiotically simple. It's so fucking simple. So what exactly is going on? Well, I can guess. So let's take a guess, shall we? A president is about to be inaugurated. If you were going to smuggle any kind of deadly device, let's say a weapon of mass destruction, into the United States, you wouldn't do it on January 18th or 19th, would you? You would do it now. That gives you enough time to either get caught and go to plan B, or get it to where it's supposed to go and hide it. Now, there are 80 Ukrainian nuclear weapons that have gone missing. They've been missing for years. Some people say that the CIA knows where they are, and because they're fairly safe and they're in predictable hands, even if they're terrorist organizations, at least we know where they are, and let's just let sleeping dogs lie. If they try to move them, we'll get them. That's the theory. Now, never overestimate the ability of the CIA to do anything except kill world leaders and start wars for corporate profit. That's really all they're very, very good at. And then, of course, the FBI is fantastic at setting up people who really wouldn't have committed any crimes at all had it not been for the fact that they were pushed into it and entrapped. That's where we're at in this country. So, what are drones? What are drones doing flying around? I do believe that they're radiological sensors. They're trying to find where, if there's a weapon coming in and it's one of these 80 nukes, and there are some intelligence reports that yes, there is one in the United States, and if they're trying to find it before January, it would make sense that they'd be flying drones. And by the way, here's what it boils down to. I own some very sophisticated drones. Myself personally, I own them. Now, I know that when I'm flying one, trying to take pictures of a cave up in the mountaintop somewhere because I love archaeology, and I'm trying to see if there might be anything in that cave that's worth risking my life for. When I'm flying that, I'm on a very specific frequency. I don't have a shifting frequency that jumps from one freak to another. And by the way, we call them freaks, F-R-E-Q. So when you're on a freak and you're flying a drone, if somebody clicks on your freak, it will jam your signal accidentally. That's why in the old days when people flew model airplanes, they'd have a little tag with a little ribbon on it that was a color that said, this is the frequency I'm on, and they'd clip it on their radio. And they'd go out there and they'd fly their airplane around. If you walked up to the post where all of them are, and your frequency wasn't on there, you had to assume somebody on the line was flying the plane on that frequency. Don't turn your fucking radio on, because if you do, you're going to crash their airplane because you're going to jam them. So how hard is it to jam the frequencies of drones? It's easy. A guy that I used to work with who was in the Navy, who's very tech savvy, was on a carrier off the coast of Afghanistan. And then the first week of the all they heard or television was, doop. That's all they heard, was because he jammed all of their frequencies at one time. Now, could you do that with drones? Absolutely. But they're not. So if they're not shutting them down, what are they doing? There has to be a reason they're allowing this to happen. And they are allowing it. It's either that, or you have to assume that the Defense Department is so completely and utterly helpless that they can't stop somebody from flying around in a very, very simple drone. By the way, again, with their fucking anti-collision lights on. Look, every idiot in the world knows the port and starboard green and red lights. Everybody who's familiar with aviation knows that all aircraft have these. Everything. Boats fucking have them. Sometimes I think cars should have them, because I'm in Arizona, where everybody's insane. What happened to the market today? Jay Powell happened to the market today. Hollywood people are leaving the country. They are scared of something. Oh, they better be scared of something. They better be scared of that Epstein list. They better be scared of P. Diddy's list. They better be terrified. God has protected Trump from assassination. No, I don't buy that. God doesn't sit there and pull strings like we're puppets. The bottom line is things happen, Now, I don't believe in coincidence. I believe the 2 assassination attempts, one of which was so unfucking believably obvious that it was obviously something that was supposed to happen, and it just went wrong. Trump is on the Epstein list and part of the Epstein investigation. No, he's not. Absolutely not. If he were, he wouldn't talk about Epstein so much. He wouldn't be so pro-Epstein list being released. They were moving. Trump got in office. They said they will move into another country. Oh, right. You're talking about the idiots in Hollywood. Well, they keep making these promises. I was born and raised in Hollywood, and I can tell you that Disneyland is more real than Hollywood. He literally said he would limit what he releases in terms of the investigation. Well, obviously, if there are informants or something like that, you can't release that. Listen, deplorable. You tell me Trump has never been to Epstein Island. Clearly, he hasn't. He's not on the flight logs, dipshit. The flight logs are flight logs. You have to keep flight logs. And all the flight logs show that he was never there. And everybody that knows him said, back in the early 90s when he and Epstein got into it over something, nobody's sure what, but they had a falling out and he never talked to him again. And he hasn't had contact with him since he was convicted. Now, you can't say the same about Bill Gates. You can't say the same about some of these, like the former prime minister of Israel or some of the most famous lawyers in the world who have gone to Epstein's house after he was convicted. No, I don't think liberals are slow. I think that they're just very Machiavellian. I think that they're afraid to. They don't have the warrior spirit in the sense of let's fight. They have the more of the I'm going to be passive aggressive and attack you from behind when you're not looking, which is cowardice, yes, but it's also very Machiavellian. So plots and plans and plots within plans, and it's exhausting. Let me tell you, just trying to figure out the average radical lib. There's a lot of liberals out there who just, they want to be good people and they just want to do the right thing and be nice. And I don't hold that against them. Hey, great. I get it. Unfortunately, silver price in 2025, I'm going to say 65, because whenever this happens, and this has happened before, when the market tanks, gold and silver always get bumped down slightly initially, and then they skyrocket back up. That's just the way it works. Chuck, so I see that. Hello. Now what was this? This guy has warrior spirit when going to the fridge. Yep, that's true. I've never met a donut I didn't like. Wait, I don't want to misspeak. But let me put it to you this way. I've never met a beignet or a cream puff I didn't like. That's safe to say. Or a piece of bacon. Or a piece of steak. Actually, I had steak and au gratin potatoes for dinner just before going live. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty happy with myself right now. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? I know it's funny. It's funny when people try to insult me and it turns out they're actually saying something that's true. I definitely have a warrior spirit when it comes to killing a beer or putting away a meal. Wow, almost 8 million illegal aliens live in American sanctuary cities, according to this report. And you know what? To be quite frank with you, I don't need to get rid of all of them. I just want to get rid of the bad ones. Meatloaf, love it. You have great hair. Thank you. I actually was gonna brush it, and then I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna run a comb through it real quick because I don't normally do that. And this is what happened. This is how it turned out. Yeah. So I appreciate that. I haven't had a haircut in months. Normally it's closer to high and tight. This is the longest it's been since high school. And needed that laugh out loud. Good. I'm glad I could be of service. I'm a giver. I'm here to help. Let's see. Trump effect. Canada bends the knee. They better. Look, the bottom line is this. You want to be a complete retard socialist moron? Great. Don't try to bully us, though. And remember, these are the same people who stood around with their little cabal and made jokes about what an idiot Trump was. Oh yeah, it was Trudeau from Canada and what's his name? Narcissist from France. Isn't that his name? Narcissist. I mean, these people, you have to understand something. Trump's not stupid. He's not a stupid person. And he remembers all of these people. And he went back and he saw all the tapes. He saw what Fauci said. He saw when Fauci was lying. He knows the truth now. Look, when they made fun of him because he was talking about, the idea that maybe you could have like, I don't know, hydroxychloroquine or any of these other, antivirals could actually work on COVID, and they were making a fool of him. Well, guess what? They're all accepted by the CDC now. I went and checked the CDC website. See, I'm that guy. I'm the guy who actually does a little follow-up. So I'll give you an example. Let's go to the Fed website right now. Let's see. Personal savings rate in, it's September of 2024. That's the last report, is 4.1%. Now, just to put that in perspective, in 1984, in December of 84, so that would be exactly 40 years ago, the average savings rate, I got a violation for hateful behaviors. Oh, I'm being hateful. Please don't be mad at me. I'm not being hateful. I'm just being honest, which in this case sounds pretty bad. Personal savings rate 40 years ago was 10.7%. After the great financial crisis, people were a little leery. It went up to 10.9%. And now it's dropped all the way down to 4.1%. What does that mean? It was Jan Brook 22. Okay, not sure what that means, but okay. I have no reason to doubt you since I don't understand what you're saying. By the way, let's look at a couple numbers, and you tell me. They reported me, possibly. You tell me if this sounds odd to you. In the year 2000, the amount of people in the United States was 129 million. Okay, you can buy ivermectin now, and by the way, ivermectin, according to the CDC's homepage, is now an accepted use drug for COVID-19. It treats COVID-19. Now, when he said it, it was a horse whistle if you look at just like Joker. So when they say stuff like this, it costs an election. They pardon judges that sell children to for-profit detention centers, and then they get kicked back money. And then Joe Biden gives them total clemency. We remember this shit. Don't ever forget this stuff. So in the year 2000, I'm going to get to silver. Trust me, this all connects. In the year 2000, there were 129 million people in the United States. Okay? Less than half of what there is now. Now, and back then there were 162 million people in the workplace. Okay? Excuse me, 162 million people in the workplace. Now, with 337 million people in the United States, there's 161 million people in the workplace. So the amount of people in the workplace has gone down by almost an entire million people over 20 years. And the population has skyrocketed while that happened. You explain that to me. That's the problem. Now, the one thing that hasn't changed, that hasn't gone down, are the amount of people in the government. Let's see, private sector jobs, 127 million. Government jobs, government employees in the United States, 23,877,000. 23 million? Are you telling me that 1 out of every 12 people in this country works for the government? What? Wait a minute, that can't be right. That's right. That is right. Uh-oh, they jammed me. I got jammed. Look at that. I'll wait. No, they unjammed me. Okay. Yep, I glitched. They jammed me up. I love it. Yep, I'm lagging. So let's do this. Let's look at 23 million government employees Okay, 23 million government employees out of 337 million people. I don't know, just off the top of my head, that's what, 12%? So one out of every 8%. So about one out of every 12 people, 13 people in the entire country. Federal government workers, almost all of them are a waste of money. That's absolutely true. That is absolutely true. Let's do some fun stuff. Median income 25 years ago was 32,000. Okay. Median income now is 39,000. What? No way. I got removed for what? Misinformation. Oh, you motherfuckers. I got kicked off for misinformation. All right, fine. You go right ahead, TikTok. Let's see. My live does not contain the mentioned bullshit, you jackasses. Fucking TikTok. You guys suck, man. What a bunch of assholes. Censorship, censorship, censorship. Yep, of course I'm going to appeal it, you fucking dildos. I'll probably be able to go live again in about 4 minutes because they always reverse themselves after they do this. It happens all the time. They'll kick me off for something, and then they'll go back and review it and go, oh, you know what? It's not what we said it was. So, anyway, who's on here? All right, I got some people on here. Good. You guys on YouTube. Yeah, TikTok is freezing, so I'm on here. Good deal, Anna. Appreciate that. Bob, Travis. All right, you guys. Appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, by the way. I got some good stuff going on up there. I'm going to have some more live streams popping up. Not live streams, podcasts. I'm doing a bunch of podcasts with some very interesting cats, so it'll be very good. Let's see here. Let's go back to the debt clock. All right, so these numbers, I mean, this just blows me away. U.S. total debt right now, personal debt per citizen is $76,000 per person. U.S. savings, family. If he's a teenager and he works at Domino's, they count that. So then they don't just divide it by 2. It's 2 point something. So it's less than $5,000 per person that we have in savings. But our debt, our personal debt, is $76,000 on average. That could be a problem very soon because at some point, people are going to stop paying that. U.S. total interest paid right now, this is includes household, business, state and local governments, financial institutions, and federal government. We have paid out $5,355,000,000 in interest, just interest. Bank interest received $1,152,000,000. Bank interest paid $425 billion, which means they've made over $500 billion in interest on us. It's almost hard to imagine. Student loan debt, the greatest scam of all time, or one of them, $1.7 trillion per student. That's $39,000. Credit card debt is now $1.3 trillion, or $8,400 per credit card holder. You can't make this stuff up. So our total unfunded liabilities as a country are 221 trillion 866 billion. That doesn't count the 36 trillion national debt. You see the problem here? So when people say the stock market only goes up, not true. the stock market does not only go up. And that's why right now we have a real honest to God systemic problem. Like we have a problem that, I mean, look, I really hope that somehow Trump can fix this, but this is a major problem. There is no way. Oh, okay. They said my live access is suspended until January 25th. Wait, is this my Christmas present from TikTok? Yeah, it sure seems to be. I'm allowed to go back live at 7:30 on Christmas night. You know what? Just to be an ass, I think I might, just because. Even though there's going to be 4 people on TikTok that night, that's okay. I don't mind. All right, so I'm going to jump off. Here's the thing on the markets. I'm not sure that we can expect to see it going down again tomorrow. I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is because that would create a huge panic. And I think that the government is smart enough to understand that even if the Fed has to backstop this a little bit, they will. Now, should the Fed be buying products in the equities market? No, absolutely under no circumstances are they allowed to do that. Did they do it during COVID? Yes. Did it set a precedence? Yeah, sure did. Let's see how the boys overseas are doing. Let's see how the Nikkei is doing. I believe the Nikkei is open now. It's down, let's see, it's down 1% already. That could get interesting. Let's look at the world markets real quick. Let's just take a look at the entire world. How is the world right now? Wow, Tesla got whacked hard, 8%. By the way, for those of you who own Tesla, do some research on this. The car market is absolutely, utterly collapsing. There are thousands of dealerships around the country that right now have 2022s, brand new 2022s sitting on their lot, along with 2023s, 2024s, and 2025s are rolling out. Stellantis, the Europeans that they are going to help us by buying up Dodge and Chrysler and Jeep, and they have made an absolute spectacular mess out of it. The new Jeep Grand Wagoneer is about $110,000. It makes no sense to the idea that I would want to buy a pickup truck. The income, I would want to buy a pickup truck for $150,000. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, it's just completely insane that they even expect us to do that. So, watch the car market. Watch credit cards. Watch credit card defaults because those are going up very quickly right now. What else? Obviously, real estate. It got a little bit of a bump because of Trump, but again, just by taking the oath of office, you don't fix it. Even if people love the guy, even if the obvious majority of people in the United States believe in him 100%, we have systemic problems that have been systemic problems now for years. And if he fixes them, it's going to cost money. Period. You can't get around that. There's no getting around the fact that it's broken and you don't fix it for free. So are we going to just walk right around this dumpster fire? No, we're in it. Now, the good news is that instead of taking between 5 and 10 years, perhaps forever, now it will take between 2 and 5 years. I'm going to say 5 years at the most, but probably more like 2 years to really see the other side of this and to start seeing some economic growth. Bottom line is this: if you want to know what's going wrong, manufacturing jobs in the year 2000, okay, with the population we had back then, there were 17 million manufacturing jobs in the United States. Now, with the population with over 100 million more people, manufacturing jobs in the United States, 12 million. We've still lost 5 million manufacturing jobs over the last 25 years. With the population booming the way that it is, what's happening here? That makes no sense. U.S. self-employed is down to 9 million people. That's terrifying. That is truly terrifying, because that's not sustainable. I mean, look, if there are only 129 million taxpayers in the United States right now, and there are 100 million people right now not in the labor force, do the math. Is the average person that's in the labor force going to pay enough to support the average person not in the workforce? Not going to happen, not unless they're all paying at least $50,000, $100,000 in taxes. Because remember, the first thing we've got to pay when you pay your federal taxes is the $1 trillion in interest. By the way, speaking of interest, China has apparently decided to dump about $9 trillion in debt, U.S. debt. If that all comes back to the United States, that will be catastrophic for us. Now, we're not sure if they're going to dump it all, or if they're just starting to dump it now as a warning shot across our bow to let us know that, hey, if we dump your debt, we'll just destroy your markets. We'll totally tank your entire system. That could be. It could be the first shot in a trade war. It could be them saying that, look, we're going down the toilet. We're going to take you with us. The amount of layoffs, the amount of unemployed, and the zero chance. When I say zero, I mean there is zero chance that they make it out of this alive as a country in their current form. They can't survive this. Their birth rates are so incredibly low now. They lifted the one-child policy, but what they didn't factor in is, as they lifted the one-child policy, they were starting to become very, very successful economically. The best form of birth control in the world is affluence. Because if you live on a farm, having 10 kids is a benefit. If you live in the city, having 10 kids is just a hell of a lot of very expensive pets. That's the reality. So people, I don't think, understand that, but they're going to very soon. So you guys have a great night. Love doing live streams on YouTube because they're on here forever. So when I say something and then it turns out to be true a year later, I can say, hey, I did warn everybody. Of course, it means that I'm not real popular at cocktail parties, but that's okay. I don't drink much. So anyway, you guys have a great night.